Good morning. It's another new day. Decided to go ahead and call it quits last night on this because, well, I wasn't getting nowhere, but frustrated, and frustrated gets you nowhere. So, where I left off, again, which is probably easier if the engine's out of the car. Well, I know it would be easier because I'd also have the oil pan off as well. This electrical harness on the back side of this timing cover, I did replace because, well, these little tangs here that hold it in, the sensor or the plug-in on this were broke. And it was just really ratty looking. So I decided to replace it, which means I had to unplug it, obviously. Other people who do it the way that I'm doing it do not unplug that and just leave the timing cover as it is off to the side, no problems. Well, you know, easier to unplug than plug back in. It plugs into this solenoid here, which this here is the connector that's supposed to plug into, and it's pointing roughly like this and in. So the struggle is to get that pushed down in there and then back coming up this way through the little bit of space right there. Needless to say, I probably spent, I don't know, 30-ish minutes, easily 45, messing with it last night, and then decided that let's sleep on it and come back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with a better attitude, and hopefully it just goes right in. That's where we're going to start today. And then hopefully by the end of this video, that timing cover is mounted on there. Actually, hopefully by the end of this video, this looks like it did at the beginning of this teardown. Fingers crossed everything goes like it's supposed to. We all know how that's going to work. So hang tight and let's get into it. Well, I'm either digging myself deeper or making it easier. I'm not sure. So I did have the harness that is in the timing cover, which is not there right now, but sitting in the solenoid down there, but I could not get it to clip in. And then I realized, and then I saw that this thing, which was in there, and I was like, well, that's probably holding that solenoid in there. Let's pull it out. And sure enough, it's a little lock that holds the solenoid up into the oil pump. And then it fell, and I thought it ran away, but I found it. Now I've got the harness plugged in and locked. Now maybe, hopefully, I can get this, since it just should be a straight shot, back up in its little bore down there, easier than it was to try and finagle this little harness around the right way to plug in and get it to lock. So here we are, take 473. Hopefully this gets in this time, because I would sure love to continue the reassembly of everything on this Yukon. Fingers crossed again. Here we go. Success. Although you really can't see, but there you go. The solenoid is back in. The clip is in there. It's plugged in. So now I gotta re-clean off both these mating surfaces. Get some silicone laid down and get this cover put on. So, sleeping on it and not trying to continue last night when I was super frustrated, at this point has prevailed and is working better. Sometimes you just have to step away, take a breath for 8 hours while you sleep for it to work. So I'm going to clean off these surfaces, get some silicone laid down, and get this cover put on. We'll be back. Okay, we've got the all the oil cleaned off the mating surfaces again. Now let's get after it with some silicone, like I'm putting icing on a cake. Alrighty, got the cover on, all the bolts on, everything's tightened down. Silicone will be drying while we assemble the rest of this. It's always great when you buy 2 of these and they're both hard as a rock already, brand new, which they probably sat on the shelf for a while, and I don't know, that's what happened. So we just went with some regular old Permatex Ultra Black. So we're going to continue on while that's drying. And what should we do next? We'll just kind of reverse what we did in this assembly. I'm going to, I know LJ did most of this side, but I did pull the vacuum pump, which does go right here. So we'll probably, let's go ahead and get that. We'll go ahead and work on getting this Hoover or Kirby, whatever your flavor is, vacuum installed, and we'll be back. So we got the vacuum pump installed, ran this harness up and around, got those plugs installed, the bolts put back in, and the ground over here put back on. I'm gonna go ahead and clean off all the gunk in the injectors, put some new O-rings on them, and we'll get the high pressure fuel system seated back in where it goes. Alright, just push this down in the holes, kind of line them up, let it fall into place, and then the electrical connector is back there. Just plug into everything. All the injectors stay plugged in. Same thing on that rail. Then we'll get the squiggly piping that's in here back to the high pressure pump. I'm sorry for having you guys sideways. Both fuel rails in, tightened down, plugged in the back, high pressure pump plugged in. Now time to put this little snake in, which runs from the pump to each fuel rail and is retained with that 10mm bolt. Let's get that set in. She's in, she's snug. 10mm is down. What are we putting on next? I think I'm gonna go for getting the exhaust manifolds pulled up on both sides while I don't have anything here. Maybe just help with being able to get everywhere. Who knows? But I do believe it is about the time that I pulled those off. So I'll, about that time, put them back on. Alright, let's get them going. Manifolds are in, new gaskets, one new bolt, and they're torque to spec ish, as in they're tight. Suppose now probably a good time to install the rest of the rockers and new push rods. Let's get those going in there. Went ahead and checked the length, compared them to the ones that we pulled out, and they are the same length. Went ahead and looked down all the holes, which you probably can't see, no worries. Make sure there was nothing foreign in there. Did go ahead and get one new rocker arm for the one that was on the cylinder with the bent push rod and the broken lifter, because it also had some damage. So I'm gonna replace that as well. Let's continue getting these put down in here, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, just got done putting all the push rods and rocker arms in, torquing them all to 22 foot-pounds. All these 8mm bolts, both sides, looking good. What are we gonna do next? Probably gonna go and put the spark plugs back in. Let's do that. Well, I forgot to stop and give you guys updates on where I am, but just kind of get to rocking and rolling, and that's what happens. So we also have the valve covers on now. Got the manifold still. Got that heat shield on. Got the old dipstick tube in. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and get the crank dampener, crankshaft pulley put back on. And a little bit of heat to the snout ought to help it expand and make it easier to slide over the crank. We used some heat to get it off, and it came off quite smoothly. So we're going to put some heat on it to put it back on. A little bit of heat. Everybody likes to be warm. Even the dampener likes to be warm. Now this is going to take two hands, so I don't have a mount for this camera, so I'm going to have to put you down while I slide this on. Update. We have dampener on, heat shield valve covers, plastic covers on the valve covers. Getting the intake on right now. Working on getting all this jazz, this and the evap line, and all the little miscellaneous crap on here put on. But man, look, it's starting to look like an engine. After I get this completely squared away, I'll get the actual cover put on it, and then we'll put the coolant crossover water pump conglomerate thing. Whoop. Been a long day, but keep going. Well, I knew I was going to do it, even though I told myself not to. Yeah. I bolted the intake down, but the cover is not on it, which it's there for aesthetics. It has some insulation in there, so I bet it probably has other engineering purposes. But due to that being so big, it didn't really slide back there very easy. It has all these little holes here for you to be able to put the intake on with this on. So yeah, we're gonna burn that intake off again real quick, put this on, and then put it back down. Super. Okay, so the water pump crossover pipe is on, mounted, more little plugs and sensors hooked up, plugged in. We're just going to go around here and visit all of the connectors that we've touched so far and the hoses, and make sure they're all good. And then I think we're going to we'll get the compressor put on, which goes down there, an alternator bracket with the alternator, and then we'll throw in the assembly of the condenser, radiator, transcoolers, fans, all that. So we'll be back. Okay, I believe we're there. I believe we are ready to put the last big piece in, which is the condenser, radiator, and fan assembly. Got compressor, alternator, water pump, crossover, all the belts, water vacuum pump, which you can no longer see. Intake cover, valve covers, I mean everything's on. Everything is plugged in, bolted in where it's supposed to be, with the exception of what goes right here, which again is the radiator, condenser, and fans. So, and then of course the battery goes there, and the air filter box will go here. Let's go get that big hunk of plastic and aluminum and shove it in here. Okay, the time has come. It is all back in. Everything but the negative cable is hooked up. Drained the oil, added new oil to it, and I've got, from what I could see, everything plugged in. I have no more leftover parts. Hooray. But we are filling the antifreeze now. Got the correct stuff, Dexcool, and that is full concentrate. So pouring in one, and then filling that jug up with water, and filling that up, and then using this other one. So hold on to your seats, because we're gonna start it up in just a minute. All right, give it a rip.
What do I do?
You don't know how to start your car?
I know how to start it. But
start your car. Start your car. Pumping up all the oil. But it's alive. Yay, it runs. All right. We're gonna get all this blood out, and we'll check back in here shortly. Let's go ahead and back this thing out. It's got that super quiet mode, burning all that fluid off. Park! Still gonna get some tuning, but definitely not like the white truck, but it is thumping a little bit. She's grinning. What do you think?
I'll let you know when it's all the way done.
When it's tuned.
But you fixed it, and it started, so that's good.
Oh.
Good job.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's still trying to figure out what it's doing. The computer's super confused right now. So, that's fine. All right. There you go. Mama's car. Soccer mom's car. Baseball. Okay. Baseball, football mom's car. The Wallen wagon. Okay.
Wagon, that's pretty good.
No. So
like
its name is 7. It's done and ready for the tuner. Now we just got to throw it on the trailer and get it to him. Thanks for watching. Well, we'll finish this off with the tuner, but for tonight, we're done.